So old Joe Biden and his failed sidekick, commie Kamala Harris, made one of their final high-profile appearances together last night at the annual Kennedy Center Honors. Now, even though they delivered nothing but failure for the American people and their party and the country, the pair, of course they did. It's D.C., the Kennedy Center is all liberals. The pair received a standing ovation before taking their seats at the event. What were they applauding? We saw the usual from old Joe. He was completely clueless, didn't know when to clap, didn't know where he was, really. He had an unwarranted look of pride on his face. Like, what are you proud about, Joe? You're getting applause? For what? What'd you do? Whew. Despite the fact that he and his co-pilot are almost unanimously known as international embarrassments, the crowd erupted for Kamala Harris, who's a more rare sight than a solar eclipse these days. Maybe they were just so happy to see that she was live. I know. They were just happy to see if she was sober. And maybe she was. The failed presidential candidate smiled and waved from the red velvet box in that Kennedy Center's Opera House, but notably did not interact with her boss. This moment was hard to miss. Joe and Jill Biden visibly ignored Kamala and her that beta husband thing that she's got with her. It was clear as day. Joe may not know where he is these days, but apparently he's sharp enough to remember Kamala Harris forced him off the ticket and then lost the election by a landslide. Just look at their miserable dynamic. The night was filled with performances and speeches, yet the Bidens, the cold shoulder, well, that stole the show. That's what everyone watched. They saw that difference between Joe Biden and the first lady and the second gentleman. It was just awful. Well, now we have a visual to support everything we've heard about the animosity in the White House. Kamala Harris has spent the past month hiding at the bottom of the bottle, so to speak. Now, old Joe has been all over the place, basically Venmoing our adversaries, I should say, stacks of taxpayer dollars, your money, while he learns about the animals of the jungle in Africa. These two partners have no desire to share the same space any longer. It's pretty clear that even they are looking forward to January 20th, 2025, Inauguration Day. Just look at this now. Meanwhile, this is in Paris. Fast forward to Paris. Trump, the opening of the Notre Dame Cathedral. Now look at Dr. Jill, how she stared at Donald Trump in the Notre Dame Cathedral. She's staring at Donald Trump. Looks at him, I don't know, with love and hope. Maybe the same way she used to look at old Joe before she helped end his political career. Of course, Trump was there representing American leadership. Jill's husband, the freaking president of the United States, he declined to attend. Jill was absolutely thrilled to be in the presence of a real leader. You can see it on her face. Maybe that's what it's all about. She just wants to be married to the president. Maybe that's it. Maybe she'll try and bounce Melania and jump in there. Trump wanted no part of it. Trump had a busy weekend, though, as he usually does. The soon-to-be president kept it real during a Meet the Press sit-down. He walked us through his early discussions with foreign counterparts and explained why tariffs are not the disaster that the mainstream media wants you to believe. Listen.
Are you actually going to impose these tariffs, or are they a negotiating tactic?
Well, I'll give you an example. With Canada, and in particular Mexico, we have millions of people pouring into our country. You agree with that. I spoke with I spoke with Justin Trudeau. In fact, he flew to Mar-a-Lago within about 15 seconds after the call. And he was at Mar-a-Lago. We were having dinner talking about it. I said, you have to close up your borders because they're coming in the northern border, too, a lot. Not like the southern border, but they're coming in the Canadian border a lot. We can't have open borders. And I said to the president of Mexico and to Justin Trudeau, if it doesn't stop, I'm going to put tariffs on your country at about 25%.
So no question there, right? No question. International relations involve cooperation. We all know about the drug epidemic stemming from our open borders, specifically the southern border. We also know that Trump is going to close those borders up one way or the other. He promised to. He keeps his promises. If these other leaders don't cooperate, what's Trump supposed to do? Well, he's going to lay down and let America suffer like Joe Biden did? Of course not. He's not going to do that. Of course he's going to threaten his counterparts with tariffs. Anyone who bitches and moans and complains about it simply has no clue what those tariffs can accomplish. Personally, I just got to let you know, I don't love the idea of tariffs unless it does something like this. I don't like punitive tariffs. I like a free market. I like the market to supersede politics. In this case, Trump is demanding his borders closed, and he's going to use tariffs to do it. God bless you. I'm behind that, too. Would preferably see it done the other way. I'd just like us to build it ourselves. Anyway, Trump wants them to pay for it, and that's the way you can get Mexico and Canada to pay for it. In case you need a reminder, here's what Trump got done with tariffs during his first term as president.
With other things, tariffs, I have stopped wars with tariffs by saying, you guys want to fight, it's great, but both of you are going to pay tariffs to the United States at 100%. And they have many purposes, tariffs, if properly used. I don't say you use them like a madman. I say properly used.
No, so that's right, you whiny-ass liberals. The man stopped the wars with tariffs. So to all of you ignorant Democrats wearing yellow Save Ukraine bracelets and pins, I would advise that you research that definition and the impact of tariffs before taking to social media to complain about him. In case you need to be reminded about why this man won by such an undeniable margin, listen to Trump's simple goals for America and ask yourself why anyone who lives here would even vote against this.
I'm really looking to make our country successful. I'm not looking to go back into the past. I'm looking to make our country successful. Retribution will be through success. If we can make this country successful, that would be my greatest. That would be such a great achievement. Bring it back. I'm looking to make our country great. I'm looking to bring prices down because, I won on two things: the border. And more than immigration, they like to say immigration. I break it down more to the border, but I won on the border and I won on groceries. It's a very simple word, groceries.
No, it really is. It's literally that simple. Before I wrap it up, I'm sure you heard Biden is giving more of our taxpayer dollars, more money now to Syria. He gave it to Angola, Africa last week. Can you believe this guy? Can he just freaking go home? Pack it up, Joe. Pack the White House up. Get the hell out. Stop spending our money. We're going to break this down a little bit later, the stupidity in the show, but I wanted you to check back in and take a listen. The hurricane devastation remains unaddressed, and people are now freezing cold, sleeping on their front lawns. Here's the latest from an American state that Biden could give two shits about.
Continues to be a major concern as they continue rebuilding walls, trying to stay warm. And the Western Carolina Emergency Network tells me they need kerosene for heaters and gas for generators, but donations are slim. So they're trying to get the word out that people in North Carolina still need a lot of help. Now, besides the physical, there's also the mental. A lot of volunteers telling me that preparing for bad conditions is a sort of PTSD for Helene survivors as well. And we're expecting at most up to a foot of snow in some of the mountainous areas.
Does that piss you off as much as it does me? Can you imagine sending pallets of cash to Africa last week, promised it to Syria yesterday, hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine, basically anywhere, anyone that sticks their hands out and asks for it outside the 50 freaking United States, while people in North Carolina are living like that. They're sleeping on the freaking ground outside of their destroyed homes as they brace for a foot of snow. And Biden says, Africa, here's $1 billion. He says, Syria, we're sending you humanitarian aid. He sent humanitarian aid to Gaza. And there are people, Americans, sleeping on their front lawns in North Carolina. If anyone wonders why the Democrats lost this country, look no further than this ravaged state. They abandoned the people who put them in charge. And by the way, let's stop here for a second. Can we just stop here for a second? These people are sleeping on their front lawns, and we're sending billions of dollars around the world. Okay, and what happened to FEMA? What happened when the FEMA administrator was pushed? She said, yes, it's true. We bypassed the homes that had Trump signs on them. You wonder why they lost resoundingly across the board. You wonder why there was a mandate, a national mandate for Trump to go clean the shit up, drain the freaking swamp. They got exactly what they asked for.